An unsung hero in the book of Genesis is the fourth son of Jacob. His name is Judah. Everybody who reads the story of Jacob's sons are enamored by another son, Joseph. Well, poor guy, he's victimized by his brother. He is favored by his father. He ends up a slave and then becomes a truly important person in Egypt. And we love that story. We love to tell it to our children. But when you really carefully study the book of Genesis, the story of Joseph is being served up as a narrative foil. It is, in a way of speaking, it is misleading us. Because while we are busy tracking Joseph, the real storyline is flowing through the brother Judah. Now, here's the thing about Judah. Of all the sons that are mentioned by name in those episodes, starting from Genesis 37 until the end of the book, he is the one with apparently nothing to gain. He is the fourth son, and Jacob clearly favored Joseph, so much so that he gave him a royal robe to signify his choice. And yet in the story, 4 of the brothers are written out of the story, and we are left with only Judah. First, Simeon and Levi are removed from the story because they massacred an entire city of people. Then Reuben is removed from that possibility because of his indiscretion with a concubine of his father. And Joseph is physically removed from the story by becoming a slave in Egypt. And that leaves us with Judah. In fact, as we enter those stories of the sons, we discover that Judah is the one who suggested to sell Joseph as a slave. Now, at first, that seems like a terrible thing to do to a brother. But on closer inspection, we discover that there may have been a reason for it. The brothers were hot-headed. They were intent on killing, particularly Simeon and Levi. And maybe Judah, in a mistaken way, thought this was the only way to save his brother. And he did save his brother. Joseph did not die in Egypt. He became somebody truly important. And on the very short term, God used him to save the family. But as you track the rest of the story from chapter 37 to 49, it is Judah who is slowly rising through the ranks. At first, he leaves his family to establish his own clan, and then he rejoins them. And in every story that we meet, he is trying to save somebody's life. I contend that he was saving Joseph's life in chapter 37. And then he saves the life of his daughter-in-law, whose problems were his creation. He convinces Jacob to let Benjamin go with them to Egypt and save their family, the clan, from starvation. In Egypt, the mind games of Joseph meant that Benjamin's life was in danger, and it was Judah who pled for his life. And that speech of Judah is the longest speech in the story of the sons of Jacob. When we reach chapter 49, Jacob himself had come to realize that Judah is the one chosen by God. And so he appointed Judah as the heir and makes a prophecy that both Jews and Christians have seen as a messianic prophecy. The scepter shall not depart from Judah until the one to whom it truly belongs comes. Next to the name of Israel, the name Judah is the second most important name in biblical history. And one of the special titles of Jesus in Revelation is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. This man, unsung hero, almost unnoticed in the book, is the one that God chose. But the clincher is found in Psalm 78, where we learn that God rejected Joseph, but chose Judah. When we read the Bible stories, sometimes we don't see the line that God is using. But Judah is clearly that line. From the beginning, there's so many clues that lead us to that great promise or prophecy, you might say, that Jacob made. Judah is the one that God chose. From a human ranking point of view, from a cultural point of view, from a social standing, he did not have a chance. He is outranked by 3 brothers. He is outfavored by a younger brother. But God saw something special in this man. So what was it that qualified Judah for the redemptive line? I would like to suggest that this unsung hero had one quality that none of his brothers did. That was the ability and the willingness to place himself on the line for somebody's sake. And that is why God chose him. God bless.